Hi everyone, today I wanted to make a video that is a little bit more difficult to make. It's definitely controversial in the world today, and I just want to come at it and in a very loving way and trying to be respectful and gentle to people that may have experienced this or maybe have differing opinions from me. But yeah, so the topic I want to talk about today is abortion. And as a Catholic, I am very pro-life. I have been my whole life. And I didn't really completely, I guess, understand the importance of that until really I lost my baby to miscarriage a few months ago. I still was very pro-life before that, but being able to see my 17-week-old baby, to hold her, to see how formed she was in the womb, and to know that there are babies much further along into pregnancy that are, being brutally ripped apart or even through the medication, that they can take to end the baby's life. It just became a lot more real to me and a lot more serious, and it made me realize that it's just something that I think because so many people are kind of disconnected from that in our world today, we don't really understand how evil abortion really is. And again, I'd say this in a very gentle way because I know that there are women that maybe are watching this right now that have had an abortion, or maybe you disagree with me. But yeah, I think that it's just a very difficult thing because we know, as science, even if whether you're Catholic or Christian or not, we know that life begins at conception. So at any time post-fertilization, the pill Plan B or any abortion that happens after that point is murder. And I don't say that in a way that is condemning to people, because I think there is just so many people that are misled in our world. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about really though the after effects of abortion. Obviously, I have not gone through that myself, but just learning about this in a class that I took, me and my husband, we just learn about what the baby feels in utero and the connection that they have with the mother while they're growing. And I guess this is something that I kind of had experience with, in that throughout my whole life, I struggled with anxiety. I still do to a certain extent, but I'll get into why I bring this up. So, my childhood, I would wake up with just not crippling anxiety, that's a strong word, but just in a way where it just felt really difficult to face the day. And I would tell my mom, and I had a really happy childhood, so she just wasn't really understanding why that would be happening to me. And fast forward up to a couple months ago, it seemed like it comes in waves. So if I'm going through a difficult season, it just gets a whole lot worse. But sometimes if everything in my life was going good, I still would struggle with anxiety in the mornings, especially. So I went to talk with, it's a Catholic counselor, I guess, through an inner healing. They do inner healing ministry. If you've never really heard about that, I want to get into that in future videos. But it's basically a way to use the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the leader of it. And we just pray through the things that we experienced. So yeah, basically I went to this I don't know, you can call it a therapy session in a way. And we just tried to pray through where my anxiety could be coming from. And usually when you go through inner healing, a memory will come up, whether it be from your childhood or more recent or whatever. And then you figure out kind of where it's coming from. But during this time, there was no memory that was coming up. So I was kind of frustrated because nothing was coming to me. And then eventually the leader that was kind of running the therapy session said, well, maybe there's something in utero that had taken place. So then what we did is we started to pray for that. So I pictured myself as a baby in my mom's womb, an embryo, and how I felt. And I started to get really anxious. And I wasn't sure why. I physically was feeling anxious just picturing myself as an embryo. And as I was growing, picturing myself growing in the womb, I started to get less anxious. And I thought, okay, that's kind of strange that I feel myself getting less anxious. And if I think of myself as early on, a few weeks old, I start to get really anxious again. So we prayed through that, and I started to feel better after praying through it. And then talking to my mom, she actually told me that when she was pregnant with me, she was really anxious early on, worrying about miscarriage. That's something that is in our family, unfortunately. So she was really nervous being pregnant. And then obviously, as you go forward in the pregnancy, things start to become a little bit more safe, I guess, in a way. She started to not be so anxious. So basically, all this to say is that, a baby in the womb really feels every emotion that the mother is going through. There's actually studies now that show that when the mother laughs, the baby will open their mouth and, almost like in a laughter. They talk about like tears when the mother feels the pain of something going on in her life. The baby will feel that too. So we are so connected to our baby in our wombs. And actually, there's other studies that have shown that whether a baby is miscarried or any baby that you have, no matter what that was in you, the cells remain forever. So really amazing that like a baby, let's say that was aborted, those cells are in that mother for the rest of her life, and we don't know whether maybe they help her to overcome some sort of illness that she would have gone through in the future. So those cells are in there forever. We carry them with us for the rest of our life, which I think is really beautiful, especially for me losing my first baby. I just love knowing that forever she's with me, obviously spiritually, but even physically, her cells within me. But yeah, so after praying through that and finding out where the anxiety was coming from, I honestly no longer struggle with morning anxiety. And it was like a night and day difference, like just crazy. So yeah, so it just to me is kind of proof that stuff is real. But I just wanted to talk about kind of the lasting effects that abortion has on the mother. And this is something that the media or anybody that is on the pro-abortion side will try to deny or try not to really think too much about, because especially Planned Parenthood, they don't want this information to be out there. But it's true that there is lifetime side effects of having an abortion that are very negative. And regardless of what people say, this is something that like I said, they're going to try to skew you away from the belief in this. So when a mother has an abortion, they are so connected to that baby. Like I said, we're connected spiritually, physically, emotionally, everything, psychologically. And when we get rid of that baby and just, choose to end its life, a part of us dies as well. So as we abort the baby, we're aborting part of us, a part of our heart. And this leads to many, many things, future depression, anxiety, regret, feelings of regret. A lot of times after abortion happens, the intimacy between the couple is also aborted. So the couple might split up, or they don't live in a happy marriage with each other. And the ability to feel is really dulled, and it's aborted as well when you abort your baby. And even thoughts of abortion, because the baby is so connected to the mother and the father, even the thought of abortion, if the mother has kind of a negative thought towards the pregnancy, for me, this kind of hit hard because pregnancy is hard. I was pregnant for about 4.5 months, give or take. And so basically halfway through my pregnancy, and it made me realize that there's definitely times where I wasn't as joyful as I wish I could have been. It's hard to accept your body changing. It's hard to be tired all the time and feeling sick, and kind of the worries of all the things, am I going to be a good enough mom? And just letting go of your independence in a way, I guess, knowing that now you have this little baby to care for. So there was definitely, being pregnant, there was definitely a lot of fears and worries involved. And it's something that I now realize that my baby, Evelyn, most likely, from what studies say, she felt all those feelings, or my feelings of anxiety or worry that I was going to miscarry, or any anger that I felt, or any sadness that I felt. So all of those things the baby feels in the womb. It just also is proof of their personhood, and that they're not just a blob living inside of you like a parasite, like they say. They're a human life, and just because we can't see it and it's in us doesn't mean that we have the right to take it away. So knowing how real this is, and you don't have to be a Catholic or a Christian to be pro-life, of course. I know that there are plenty of people who are non-believers that are pro-life, but there's too many that are either neutral on this topic, or they are altogether pro-abortion and for women's rights, regardless of the women in the womb. But yeah, so I think this is something that is just important to talk about, and I know it's definitely controversial. I don't even know really how YouTube feels about this topic. Well, I know how they feel about this topic, but I don't know if anything will get flagged. I'm not really sure. But I just felt the need to talk about it, and to talk about how real it is that there are plenty of studies that show very negative effects of having the abortion, and just the pain and regret that comes with that, because of the reality of it, and how the baby growing inside of you is human, and we never have the right to take another human's life. So with that being said, I know this is a heavier video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, I want to come at this in a hopefully gentle way, and I guess also just talking about the election coming up. That's a whole nother topic, and although there are some controversies specifically on one side, but also being a conservative, there's some controversies there, I guess I'll say. But just making sure that we vote pro-life, that's so important to do, because really we can't with a clear conscience vote for a political party that does not respect human rights in the womb. So I just wanted to say that too, because I think that's really important, that we make sure to vote in a way that protects human life at all costs. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in future videos. All right, bye.